If you have to do a lot of writing, maybe reports, maybe you have to share specs, or you have to write any long form kind of writing, you are probably doing it a little bit too slowly. I want to share with you a very quick way to write long form documents that you might enjoy. In fact, at the end, I'm going to add a little bit of a bonus on how to quickly convert whatever you have written into a slide deck. Let's jump into it. As you might see here, I am in Google Doc, and this is most likely going to be the de facto, or maybe you're using Office 365. They kind of all look like this: a Word, a document writing and formatting system. Now, let's say what I want to write about here is maybe, let's call our topic, how to write fast, maybe write fast and format beautifully. Beautiful. You'd also want to, this is going to be the title of our document, or what we want to write or work with. And if I want to write this, let's say the next thing here, I might want to format this, make this an H2 already. Maybe we'll make this an H1. In this case, the header, the first header, the type header. It applies a format to it. You kind of used to this. You know what this is. And let's say we now say, what is X? X is that magic thing I'm going to share with you in a bit. What is X? Now, as you notice, as I'm going through this, you are writing, you are formatting, you're used to it. What is the first bullet point? The first bullet point. And you might think the auto suggests what I want to talk about, but no. The first bullet point. Okay. You go through this and blah, 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 X, and you keep going. You are writing and you are formatting. And this is nice. We get, this completion, but that's not our point today. What I want to encourage you to do is to learn another fast way that forces you to just write your content and not worry about formatting. What is that? That is what is called Markdown. And you've seen this, you probably have heard about it before. But what Markdown is really a way where we can write in plain text, and I'm kind of just gonna go in here. It lets us write in plain text, and it converts that into formatting. All you need to really learn here, it just has some simple syntax. If I was going to write a header, instead of me doing a few clicks and going around and all those kind of stuff, I just write it as my text and it formats it as I expect. So for example, I want this to be a level headed one, and I just do this hashtag or a pound sign, whatever you call it. You get something that looks like this, and it has some interesting format, but we'll come to this at the end. I will show you a fast way for you to learn all this stuff. But first, let us see how it looks and how it works. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I will get away from Google Doc for a second. You probably know how that works. I will go into an app that I use to write Markdown. In fact, almost all my long form writing happens in this app. It's called AI Writer, and I will speak to other alternatives in a minute if you don't want to use AI Writer. So let's do the same thing I was going to write earlier. So I'll say let's say how to write long form quickly. So if I write this, I will, and not long forward, but long form, I will just focus on my content, and here it allows me to get what I have on my mind and get it out on the page very quickly. And here's what I'm thinking I want to talk about. Maybe I want to talk about what is Markdown. I'm just formatting my document here, and notice here I can kind of just do a bullet list as well, but I would kind of keep this away from bullet list because these are the sections of what I want to talk about. So let's say I want to format this. This is maybe a section, and here I want to talk about maybe learn Markdown quickly. Okay, let's talk about a few things. First, unlike Word, where if I want to make this a header, I will have to click, select. I could just do this hash right here. Notice what has happened. It's done some things. We'll see how this looks in a bit. And I can come here. Maybe I want this to be header 2. I can just do 2 pounds right there. It makes the second header. And I can maybe do this. That makes this another header. What does this look like right now? For now, let me just put some content here. And let's say here I'll just write, some content, and here I'll say another content. What does this look like? Let's do a preview. If I preview what this has done, it has converted my plain text. It has converted that into what I would kind of say a well-formatted document. Now, an interesting thing is, as you're writing, it helps that you can kind of get out of the way of your content and not worry about formatting. There are a lot of things that comes with Markdown as well. In this case, let's say I want to create a list. I'm just creating a list here. And let's say I have another section. The section I want to cover is try Markdown quickly. It's what I want to cover here. And let's say here I have, maybe I want to list apps for Markdown. And here you notice I'm just doing my content. Let's say one that you want to actually just try right away is Typora, and the one I'm using right now, AI Writer. So I go here again, and let's say alternatively, we're gonna end up with something like, what else can you do with Markdown, right? And here I make this under section, so this is header 2. Notice I'm just doing the section right there, and here I will say, of course, write long form, and let's say present or write slide decks quickly, right? What does this look like? This looks like just plain text right now. If I preview this formatting, you can see that this has been formatted nicely without us having to click things around. Let me put this in split view so you can see what the original text looks like. And again, this is just plain text, and it just makes it look great. An interesting thing for us here is that after you learn Markdown, it becomes painful. In fact, I would say hard to use all that, things like Word, the what you see is what you get editor, because it just makes it faster to write your content. What's even great? Let's say I want to make this a link, because usually when you're writing your content, maybe you want to turn this into PDF, or you want to export this into a Microsoft Doc. You might want to be able to read stuff and click on it. Well, it's very simple to do. Here I could just do something like this. Here I included square brackets. Notice that it's turned into here. I just include the website for this. That happens to be typora.io, I believe. And here I have HTTP. I use the shortcut there, AI Writer, just name of the app.io, right? And notice it took just this syntax that I wrote here. Again, this is not coding or anything. It's just small tidbits we're just adding to the text that makes this formatting work for us. Now, what can I do with this? Well, I kind of have the choice. From here, I could actually, let's say I'm done with this, I could export this to different formats, export this to, from here, maybe to docx. Let's go away from here. I could export this to PDF. I could export this to any other format that I want. The great thing also about this is that because it's plain text, you don't have to worry about the fact that I have Word installed or I have Google Sheet installed. Does it work on my phone or stuff? This can work on almost every platform. So you could just start, you have an idea, you can start drafting it on your phone very quickly. And you could, when you get a computer, clean things up and get it going. Okay, let's talk about the last thing. So we've kind of covered what Markdown is, plain text format that allows you to write content and it can output to different things. I'm gonna share with you how to learn it quickly. In fact, the fastest way to learn it, let's go into that. Another content here. You can learn all the basics from a site that is called Learn X and Y, and actually a quick way to learn almost a lot of things. If I go to Google, I'm gonna go ahead and say Learn X and Y, and let's type in Markdown. Okay, so there's this link where X is this, and this right here gives you access. I'm gonna just come right here, learn all the basics from here. So this is my link. From here, I want this to actually just be a link. I come here, notice what just happened. I just pasted, again, this app just automatically sends that I copied this and pasted it here. So link from here, well, where is here? If I click here, it brings me to this. And this just gives a quick history of what Markdown is, and it tells you all the great things you can do. Behind the scene, Markdown is actually kind of using HTML to convert plain text into actually presentable content. So here is how to do H1. If you want to make things bold or you want to make things emphasized, you have that there. If you want to do strike through, how to write a paragraph, and it goes through list. I'm using this, for example, to make an ordered list. I'm just writing this all in plain text. And how to do horizontal rule. Let's talk about a horizontal rule for a second. So this link is right here. So if I go back to my format, so this is what I'm writing, this is what it looks like. So I want to make each of this, I want to put an horizontal rule between each of these sections, right? So this is that. And let's say I'll put a small text tag by Delay Tosh. And here I have that right there. So I'm going to just put a separation there, the header by this other content. So I'm just kind of putting a horizontal rule between each section. And notice that it's just formatting it nicely. And trust me, when you export this to doc, it looks as great as it kind of looks here. So this is how the content looks right now. Let's say I'm done with this doc, right? I want to now make this a slide deck. The good news for you is that all your work is actually kind of done, because now we don't have to open PowerPoint and start clicking around and formatting things. Let me now show you how to quickly turn what we have written into a good looking slide. Let me just copy all this. I'm going to copy all these things I've written, and the people who made this product, they also have a Markdown presentation software called Presenter. I'm going to go into Presenter. So this Presenter, it kind of looks the same, by the way, though this is just for writing your words. This is for writing, designing slides. Paste this right here. Notice what just happened. It has converted what I've written into very beautiful slides. And the slides kind of just at the corner right here. So this is what I'm writing, and this is the slides. So if I kind of just go into preview a little bit, and if I preview this, you can kind of notice it kind of turns it into a slide that I can actually, this is actually ready to export. And it kind of looks something like this. It's sharing on my other window. They also have other things that if you like, you can just use this as is. Notice it just turned that into this already. Or they have tabs where you can come here and design things and make it look pretty. However, the starting point is that you just come here and write in Markdown, and this becomes kind of your slide notes. Or if you export it as a handout, it kind of just becomes the handout for folks. This is what you're presenting, and it allows you to just focus on your content. No more fiddling around with commands and a bunch of menu drop downs. You just write your content and it becomes beautiful slide deck, or you just write what you need to write and it just becomes beautiful documents that you don't have to worry very much about. Now this allows you to focus very quickly on getting your things down, sharing it in multiple formats, and you have your day back. Now the next thing for you to do is to try this out, download Typora or download AI Writer, give it a shot, go to what I'm going to share. If you want to download what this actually looks like in all the respective format, it's going to be somewhere in the link or comments below, and let me know what you think.